About a year ago, I heard this great story from a fellow VeraSage Institute colleague, Tim Williams. Tim is a brilliant strategic mind, and he shared this story with myself and a group of VeraSage folks. And I've been meaning to put this down on video for quite some time, but finally got around to it after a year. So, yes, I have stuff on my to do list for a year. But here's the story. So, Tim owns a rental property, and one of the things that is always concerning about a rental property is the maintenance of the yard. It's got a small little yard in front of it. Perhaps a goat could really take care of it. But what he wanted was a landscaper. And he called up, of course, three people to come out and take a look and give him an estimate or a price on what it was going to take to take care of the property. And the first guy comes out and says, hey, listen, I'm going to be $50 an hour, and it'll probably take me somewhere between 2 and 3 hours a week, sometimes longer if I've got to do something else. And that's what I'm going to charge you. Tim was like, okay. The next guy came out, and instead of giving an hourly price, he actually did give a list of things that he was going to do. So he was going to mow the grass, and he was going to take care of the bushes and edging, and throw down some fertilizer and whatever was needed to take care of the property and yard on that particular time. And so he listed out, and there was a list of contract and of services of what he was going to do. And he said, and that's going to be $150 a week for me to do that. Tim's okay. The third guy came out, and he actually asked Tim some questions. Tell me a little bit about this property. What's the history of it? He's like, and Tim's like, well, it's a rental property. I'm not here very often. I just want to, make sure that it's nice for people who are coming and staying here at the rental place. So, take care of that. And the guy said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that your property here has the best curb appeal in the neighborhood. And I'm going to charge you $200. It includes absolutely everything. You're going to have the best curb appeal in the neighborhood. If I have to change out the bushes or the flowers, bush dies, I'll fix it. Change the flowers seasonally. Best curb appeal in the neighborhood. $200 a week. And which one do you think Tim went with? And he had us all with bated breath, and most of the folks in the room will, clearly the third. And he said, actually, I went with the second. And we were like, well, why is that? And he said, because the third doesn't exist. He says, that was what I had hoped for, but nobody would give that to me. I did go with somebody who ended up giving me the second one. And when you think about this, what Tim is describing here is three different ways of viewing delivery of stuff to a consumer, in this case, someone who's got a rental property. One is by charging for the inputs, right? So the first guy was going to charge for the inputs, $50 an hour. The second was going to charge for the outputs, and there was a list of outputs. This is what you're going to get. This is, a lot of us think, this is more menu type pricing. We would think that we could price this based on value, but this is our list, so to speak, and this is what you're going to get. So he was charging for a series of outputs, right? This is the output that you're going to get from whatever it is that I have to do. But the third guy, who of course only exists in Tim's mind, was going to charge for an outcome, the best curb appeal in the neighborhood. And I think that is precisely where professional organizations across the board, lawyers, accountants, engineers, architects, media, Tim's in advertising, so all of these folks, bookkeepers, all people who offer professional work should be looking to position themselves as selling and providing an outcome. Not outputs, certainly not inputs, but an outcome. As a professional, you are responsible for delivering an outcome. Not outputs, but an outcome. And that's what your customers want from you. So my advice, charge for the outcome.